Big
Big
Boys
boy.
Neighborhood. Big interview, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
We
man.
got our good friend Ice Cube.
Yay, yay.
Cube in the
Yay,
neighborhood.
yay.
Welcome back to the neighborhood, Cube. How you feeling, brother?
Oh, man, I feel good, man. Happy birthday, Big.
Man, I will take that, brother. I will take that, bro. You know, and it's crazy, Cube, because there's a lot of ground to cover. You know what I'm saying? And we have fun. We talk, you know, I love seeing Cube TV shows and movies, and, you know, we go to the concerts. But also, man, there's a time, Cube, when, you know, you use your platform. And a lot of people don't use the platform because they're afraid of losing something. And I know with you, Cube, that, you know, you do a lot of business and you do a lot of business with a lot of people, but you have never abandoned the community. You know what I'm saying? And to see what you're doing right now with so many so-called odds that could be against you, I really wanted to speak to you about so many things. Now, when we first started with 2020, when we lost Kobe, we thought, oh man, 2020, oh, this is the worst. We went in, hashtag 2020, 2020 my year, 2020 vision. It was supposed to be a great year. Now we're in a pandemic. Not only in the pandemic, we're seeing people getting murdered on video, people getting shot, and so many images that we have seen in these, you know, these months of 2020, but we've been seeing for a lifetime, Q.
Yeah,
now,
for real.
it seems like it's really polarized, and the world is paying more attention to it. Where do you feel, well, first off, why do you use your platform to make sure that you're vocal for so many?
You know, I've always learned when I start doing music, and when you do, you know, you could do raps about what's going on in the neighborhood or in your environment, or you could do raps about yourself. And so I've always noticed, you know, when I did raps that talked about what was going on in the hood or in the community, people would thank me for being able to speak for them, or to be able to say the things that they wish they could say out loud, or they say them out loud. They just wish they could be heard by so many people. So I knew at a young age, you should, whenever you can, speak for the people and talk. You know, for the people is a broad word, but for like-minded people thinking the same way that you think. You know, I don't speak for everybody, of course. So, so I just learned that throughout, you know, this career, when to use it, how to use it, what to use it for. And, you know, I was on to all this kind of stuff for years, but I felt like, you know, people were really kind of into doing their own thing and, you know, trying to find a way for themselves to prosper in America.
Right.
But with this situation with George Floyd, I felt like, you know, like minds were galvanized behind this issue. And it was time to try to use the platform to make real broad change. You know, at first it was to point out, to educate, to criticize things that were happening in real time. But then I realized that you had to put a plan together to really get things moving. And I saw little, like, you know, reforms happening here and there when it comes to policing and the justice system, and, you know, removing monuments and things like that. But I didn't see a broad-shouldered plan that could help us get out of this situation, you know, get out of the streets, because it's not just George Floyd that has people in the streets. It's a lot of frustration going on in this country, and it's a lot of built-in anger for not being able to change their conditions or situations. So we needed a plan, and that's when I started to work on Contract with Black America.
Cube, a contract with Black America addressing racial inequality. I had a chance to read this, and then when you say, you know, it was crazy because, like, you know, if there's certain things people agree with. Like, I looked at this and I was like, for one, it was so well written, and not well written like, oh, he wrote it, but I'm talking about it addressed so much in 4 pages, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And real things that you address. First, I want to start with Black opportunity and representation. System of reparations. If you could break that down for us as well, man, what is that system of reparations?
Well, I think it comes in a lot of different forms. You know, everybody think, you know, just cut the check.
Right.
But that's just hard for America to be able to swallow, you know, at this time. Of course, I would love for it to happen. You know, that would be my first thing to do. But
right.
There's things that can be done within the system that can equate to reparations. Not everything, but there's ways that you can change what's going on to help the situation and remedy the situation. So, you know, that's what we're leaning to. We're leaning to putting pressure on the banks to do what they're supposed to do when it comes to lending. But not just the banks, because when you're lending, you're still, you know, when you're borrowing, you're still in debt. But, you know, we're adding pieces to this contract that's putting more pressure on the government to make grants, to basically make the money available for people to, you know, grow, build a business, buy their house, get their house, keep their house, beautify their house without gentrification, but actually, you know, giving people the materials. The materials to make it. Yes, because, you know, to me, these all can fall under the umbrella of some form of reparations. Giving us government contracts at an equal clip. You know, right now we get 3% of all the government contracts out there. And so if that was moved to 13%, specifically for the Black community, the indigenous Black community here, then that money will help the community grow, because can't nobody stretch a dollar like us. So these type of things need to happen. You know, the worst thing in the world is for, you know, I remember when they built the 105 and Freeway, and it was construction men, carpenters, people who could help the job. They could walk to work if you gave them the job, but they were flying people in from Colorado and Oregon and all these other states to come build our freeway going through our neighborhood, when we could have hired people right there that could have walked to work. So, and they putting them up in hotels, they doing all this, you know, extras to keep us out of the loop. So, you know, I'm just trying to figure out all these different ways that money can actually hit the street. And that's the key, because there's all kind of tricks with some of these programs that's in place where the public sector come in and scoop up the money that the public money is there. Yeah, and the private money come in and just they think it's there for them and not there for the community. So what they tell the government is, we'll handle this, we'll do this for you, or we'll work with you to do this. But all they want is that money that the government is dishing out for this program. They don't really want it to hit the streets and hit the people.
What I thought Q was very important as well, man, with the mandatory civil rights and anti-racism classes in all elementary schools. I love that Black scholars will write the textbooks and curriculum adopted for these classes, Black representation on all government civil rights investigative bodies. Love that. More polling places in minority and Black neighborhoods so that the number of polling stations provides equal access to Black voters as they do to white and other communities. And that is so true, man. Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday, equal healthcare facilities in all neighborhoods, regardless of demographics. And there is so much in here, Q, that I felt was extremely necessary for us to speak on. Recognize racism as a public health crisis that mandates a federal response. Ban all privately run prisons. Fines established to be paid by companies who profited off the private prison system. That's modern day slavery, bro. It's just crazy. And how when you break down also in the contract that you know, if they're doing the work, they should be paid accordingly, because you're getting slave labor wages, if that. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not even a minimum wage, not even a so-called prison minimum wage. You know what I'm saying? You're working for cents per day, but that product is still being sold at retail value with such a discount on the actual worker. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw that, man, also declare the KKK as a terrorist organization, these are things, bro, that don't sound like what the F is Cube talking about. It's crazy that we're in a position to this day, Cube, that we're talking about equality. We're talking about the same rights as others. You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous, bro. You know, we know people, Cube, that got stretched for marijuana, you know what I'm saying? And then now that marijuana's big business corporate wise, there's people that's still locked up for their case, but now everybody can make money off of weed, marijuana, whatever you want to call it now.
Yeah, because, you know, what they did was take all the experts off the street, you know, and basically, you know, give that kind of stuff to let big business get their foothold into it before they let all these experts back, you know, into the industry. So it's all these games that's been played with our lives. You know, we've been funneled into the criminal justice system or the grave, you know, or, you know, the hospital. So, you know, we have to do things to break up this industry that's going on. You know, it is slave labor. Everybody acknowledges it as that. You know, I think when you have to do your time, you know, you're doing your time. You shouldn't work if you don't want to, and if you want to work, you should get a minimum wage. And so these are things that will break the incentives for people to arrest and try to fill up these jails. You know, they filling up the jails to produce the products.
Yeah, man.
So it has nothing to do with justice. And so that's why we can't find it. That's why, you know, they arrest you for anything. And you got to make sure you're not caught up in some kind of conspiracy between the DA and the judge and the jail system. You know, you got to make sure you're not part of that conspiracy.
And then it's a slippery slope too, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's a lot of, you know, so-called neighborhood entrapment. You know what I'm saying? Where you know, there's certain things that's so-called available in our communities that's not there in other communities. And it is kind of entrapment. And when I saw the breakdown also, man, free all prisoners of marijuana possessions, like the small ones, you know, eliminate laws establishing mandatory minimums, bro. There's people that's getting stretched. People with 3-strike laws that stole a Snicker and locked down for the rest of their lives, bro. And then that's why you see when we're in the 2020 voting year, Cube, that's why you still see people that have a problem with what's going on in the vote too, and who you give that vote to, because there's a lot of history also when it comes to laws against us and 3 strikes and things of that nature. It's a election year, 2020. How do you really feel? And I saw you speak on it, but I want to have a conversation with you about this 2020 election and this 2020 vote, and why you were kind of vocal paraphrasing that said, anyone that tell you that you should vote, and anyone that say exercise your right to vote. You know what I'm saying? You know, almost kind of like question or look at it a little side eye. What do you feel about the right?
Well, I'm saying that anybody's asking you to vote, but not ask for anything, to not say that you want, or if you're satisfied with both platforms, man, go for what you're in on. You know what I mean? But if you're not satisfied, if you haven't seen enough, you have to still put the pressure on the candidates to deliver more, because they will consider you in their pocket, and they will go and try to please other communities to get their vote. So I'm not satisfied. It's a lot of people that's not exactly satisfied with either party. So, you know, we feel like you should put pressure on the candidates to do more to get us to the polls, to get us satisfied, to get us where we can get behind you. And so that's really what I'm saying, because we've been playing the same game and getting very little, nothing, or actually falling farther behind. So you can't play the same game and expect a different outcome if you haven't made adjustments. You know, we need to use our leverage. And when I say we, you know, I'm specifically talking to Black voters. We need to use our leverage when we have it. And now is the time when we have the most leverage, I believe, we've had in many, many elections.
Right. I know in my lifetime.
And if you notice, and if you've noticed the cycle, when we show up, we can swing it our way. When we don't show up, it don't happen our way. Okay. When I say our way, it's how we've been voting. And when you get somebody in and it still don't happen for you, what do? I mean, these little bitty baby steps in reform, we know that ain't gonna cut it, big boy. I mean, that ain't gonna cut it, man. We need real money on the streets, to hit the streets, legal money.
Right.
We need people to go after this legal money. And we need it to actually hit the communities and not be circumvented by all these games that's played in high places. So I just feel like we have so many people that's been in positions to, why do I have to come up with the damn contract with Black America?
Right.
Like, why can't I just go and rap?
Right.
Since I'm just a rapper, you know, why can't I just go rap? Why I gotta come up with it? What have these people been doing all this time, man? To come up with a concrete plan and push it hard. So that's when I say question people who are just telling you to vote and you don't really see what you're getting. So you got to ask them, man, well, what you getting?
And you're not telling anyone not to vote. You know, you
just not.
Oh, your vote don't count. Sit your ass down.
No,
you know, and just like in
actually,
life,
your vote do count.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. Your vote do count. Make sure you're getting what you want for it. Right. And if you're satisfied, go for it. You know, I'm not trying to discourage anybody. You know, I want everybody to register. I want everybody to be ready to go vote on that day. But I want the candidates to work hard to get your vote, even at the 11th hour. You know, people are telling me, Q, you should have talked about this 2 years ago. For what? You want to talk to people who can actually do it. You don't want to talk to people who might can get it done or gonna go talk to somebody to get it done. Right. You want people that can do it. Now we're dealing with people that can actually do it. It needs to be done. I think the whole country see that something needs to be done. Right. And it's more than just police reform. It's more than just justice reform. It's more than criminal reform. It's economic reform. Dollars got to hit our streets in these Black communities, not minority communities. They're already hitting the streets in minority communities, but only Black people only get 2% of when you hear the word minority. We usually only get 2% of that because there's a lot of minorities in this country. I mean, you know, 70% of the country is minorities.
Right.
And then, so when you add them all together with everybody that gets included in that word. So we need Black specific things to hit our streets, you know what I mean? And to actually give jobs, to create businesses in them exact neighborhoods, because nothing else is going to work for us. It hasn't been working, and I feel the same thing is coming if people don't you know, you don't have to adapt everything in the contract with Black America. Of course, you can't get that done 55 days. But you can get some things. You can agree to a lot of this, you know, and I'm looking at it right here for everybody who say, why do you keep looking to the right? It's the contract is right here. So we can get a lot of this done. We can agree to a lot of this. Man, I mean, you read it. It's 4 pages. It's 22 pages. You know, it's a 22-page long document. So it's not like it's going to take forever to read. It's sensible. It's reasonable. And so,
and the police reform one as well, bro. And I just think that we're, you know, the world is watching. There's more eyes and ears open at this moment right now for this conversation, for these, you know, for these wants, for these demands, whatever you may call them. Have you had a chance to speak to anyone either in, when we think about the presidential side, the Biden camp, the Trump camp, have you had a chance to speak to anyone about when we speak on a contract with Black America?
Yeah, we talking to both sides. And, you know,
are they listening?
I believe they are. You know, it's a situation that's developing. We got to wait and really see what they say. We're going to talk more with both sides, you know, within this next week or so. And try to get to some kind of agreement on what they can do out of this contract. Because, like I said, us getting out of the situation that we in is really a bipartisan issue. Both sides see that something needs to be done, okay? So with that, we need both sides working together to do something. Now, politics has been polarizing, but both sides see that something needs to be done. So we're gonna need both. We don't need somebody to say, we was gonna do it, but they don't wanna do it. And we don't wanna hear the other side say, they didn't really bring it to us. So we need both sides to agree that these economic things, and we're just dealing right now with the economic situations in our community, so we can deal with other things, because somebody's gonna get elected and somebody's gonna have to go forward to push this stuff. Hey, you know, this is not a 55-day thing. This is a, you know, a exercise that will take, you know, the next 4 years probably to implement all of this stuff.
It's not even a 55-year thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
it got to be done faster than 55 years.
I'm just talking about from what's in our rear view mirror. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing the same dance, man, and getting crumbs, and we got to do something different. So, you know, I'm not a traditionalist. I'm not, you know, somebody who's going to go play the politic game the way everybody else play it. To me, it's we got to make a deal to get something done, so the money can hit the streets in the communities, man. If we don't do that, everything else is gonna get hijacked. You know, we've picked dignity over dollars when it comes to issues for a long time, and we're still in the same place. I think sometimes you got to pick dollars, and they'll get you the dignity you looking for, because we know how we was treated before we became who we are, and we know how we're treated now. So it's time for us to focus just as hard on economics and getting money into the communities as we are on getting social justice and getting things worked out. Because if we continue to be poor and at the bottom of the pyramid, the justice system is not going to treat us any better. I don't care what laws they put on the books. You know, it'll make them hesitate, but it won't make them treat us any better. So we gotta economically get off our back, and we're on our back.
Hey Q, why? I mean, with the so-called success of Ice Cube, the empire that you've built, you know, have you had someone that either near, far, that said, "Shut up and rap"? You know, have you had that?
Of course, you know, people come and say, you know, you made your money. It's easy for you to say. And to me, that just let me know how they would act if they was in my position. You know, they wouldn't look back. They wouldn't care.
Right.
You know, I mean, they would vocally care, but they wouldn't do nothing. They wouldn't stick their neck out.
And
you know
but sticking your neck out, are you concerned? Have there been any threats? Because you're speaking something that's extremely real and it's coming with a real purpose. This isn't about clicks. This isn't about views. This isn't about what's in it for Ice Cube. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not. You know, I'm not concerned at all. You know, because if we can't fix it and make it right, I don't want to be a part of this shit. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be a part of it. So now's the time. We got to make this right. We got to do it in our lifetime. It's our turn. You know, we've sat back and watched other leaders take the reins, and it's our turn. You know, it's our generation turn to fix it. And so, you know, we can't just sit back and wait for our elders to do all the work without us stepping up. And so, you know, a lot of people, you know, look at the administration as, oh my God, they're the devil. We got to get rid of them. You know, for us, all of them been the devil.
Right.
I mean, for real, all of them been the devil.
Right.
Ain't none of them been right for us. You know, and that's just real. You know, some of them talk nice, but none of them been right and did the right thing and got us out of the condition that we're in. You know, it's baby steps. Or we get ours in the wash. You know, you help the whole country.
Yeah.
And then we get our little 2%.
Yeah.
Out of that.
Do you feel that what we're speaking about, what you're talking about, and with the contract with Black America, do you feel really, Cube, that it's doable?
Man, it's easy peasy.
Yeah.
It's just political will. I didn't come up with nothing that's
right.
You know, like, man, this is far out thinking. Like,
it doesn't look ridiculous. It doesn't look like it's not
simple Simon. It's a simple Simon addition and subtraction. It's knowing how to read percentages and understand 2% of anything ain't enough. Mm-hmm. You know, we 13.5% of the country or more. So having 2% of it, we could do the numbers. That just ain't enough. If we got that up to 10, 15%, we wouldn't be worried about nobody. We'd be straight. That money does not hit the streets. Only 2% get into our Black households. We don't own homes to the point where we can pass them down. You know, in 2008, we were tricked out the homes that we did own.
Yeah, man.
You know, so it's like the gig is up for both sides. Jig or gig or whatever the hell country ass saying that is, but the shit is up.
Hey, Q, let me ask you, man. Let's say when you say both sides, Biden side, Democratic side, Trump, Republican side, what if Trump's side, the Republicans, listened to you more and you felt like they got it? Does the Ice Cube, O'Shea Jackson vote goes to Trump, or have we seen enough Trump already to be afraid of that?
You know, that's hard to say. You know, if they came, whatever sides come at me with, I'm going to tell the people what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, way before the election. I'm going to tell the people exactly what it is, because the people should make that decision for themselves. Shouldn't listen to Ice Cube about it. I'm just trying to get the facts out. I'm just trying to get something for us, a demand for us to get them to put into their plans. You know what I mean? That's the key, because we don't know who's going to win, to be honest. Mm-hmm. You know, nobody knows. So, you know, we could all say, well, don't talk to the other side. I did a song called Arrest the President, so you know, how I felt from day one.
Yeah, you know, so, I was afraid I didn't interview you on that one.
So of course, but you know, I understand how this stuff works. And you have to tell both sides your demands. Because, you know, at the end of the day, everybody understands this needs to be done. This is not a favor. You know, it's not like Cube asking for like a earmark or a little, you know, you got people in the streets who are not respecting any authority. How can America continue to exist under them conditions? They have to do something for the people. They have to get the people from protesting in the streets to dancing in the streets. And so something big, you know, something humongous has to happen. You know, hundreds of billions to trillions of dollars have to hit the Black community. Everybody knows that. And if it don't happen, this country is not gonna have harmony at all. No way, shape, or form.
Q, man, I thank you for the conversation, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I know that there's people, Q, that's trying to wait us out. There's people that think that, oh, you know, this will dissipate. You know, they think that it's just a topic for right now. And you've seen that. You've seen that with George Floyd. You know, you saw people with new signs that said Black Lives Matter, and they did their so-called part, and they're waiting for us to shut up. They're waiting for us to be quiet. They're waiting for us to take our foot off the gas. And that's why I'm saying, man, not just until, you know, the election, but we got to continue to mash, and we got to continue to have these conversations. And the same way when you say with the vote, it wasn't about putting people saying don't vote, it don't count. But the same way anyone that's going out and they say, okay, well, you know, we want you to paint this house. We want you to do this. We want you to do that. You got to put the bags in these groceries, whatever it is. Your thing is, well, what's in it for me? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Any kind of work or anything that you do, and it's not selfish to say what's in it for me, what's in it for us. If I do this for you, what are you going to do for me? And that is not selfish. And that is not ludicrous. That is a real conversation of exchange, you know, and it's not wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. I mean, that's how
day, bro.
That's how the process works. That's why somebody's campaigning.
And that's why you see other people that's been using that. And that's why certain laws get passed. That's why you can't get an NRA to dissipate or disappear. That's why you see grants go to other people or other organizations. That's why those that speak up the loudest are the last to get anything taken away from them and the first to have something given to them. When students weren't voting, they were knocking down student Pell Grants, this grant, increasing this, so on and so forth. When the elderly, they were knocking down Social Security. But when you stand up on something and tell people what you want, then you'll be able to have your voice and be able to not just sit at the table, be in a position where we create our own tables and make our own chairs, and we're not asking for anything that's not fair and not worthy of, or that, you know what I'm saying? And not even asking something. Now we got to start demanding, bro.
Without a doubt. And, you know, for anybody who, you know, it's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there who would think, well, maybe Cube is getting something, or he's asking for something behind the scenes for himself. The answer is no, I'm not. I don't want nothing. Me personally, I don't need nothing. But, you know, friends, family, cousins, uncles, relatives, niece, you know, people that's still in the community.
Yeah, that guy walking down the street, that girl over there.
They need a lot.
Let me ask you.
A lot. And they need all these tricks to stop being played where the money get siphoned off.
And I think
they needed to actually get to them, because I believe money trickles up. It don't trickle down. You go give somebody homeless some money, they're gonna go buy some stuff that they need. And that's just gonna go up the ladder. So it don't trickle down. So the money has to hit the streets.
Hey, Cube, let me ask you, bro, what do you feel about Kanye 2020 and Kanye's presidential run?
I mean, I don't know enough about it to have a feeling, you know.
I I'm looking at real shit, big.
I don't want to diss Kanye, because, you know, when you've been able to see how things work, you want to jump to change it if you got the heart. You know what I'm saying? You want to jump to fix things that's broken. That especially when you see, oh damn, this is a game where we ain't even supposed. I mean, there's no path to success here. You know what I'm saying? For us, then you go to work and try to do what you can from your vantage point to fix it. And everybody's not gonna agree with how you do it. But what I guess people like him, people doing what I'm doing, saying, look, we can't play the same game and expect something different to happen. We got to change how we're approaching this and really look at what benefits our community, because we'll do something to get a law in place, but then the people that put the law in place will be so mad at us, we don't benefit off that, and every other minority group get it and benefit off of it. So things are not working for us as they are. So we got to change the script. We got to put pressure where there's never been pressure before. We have to do things different to get these people that we elect to do the things that really need to happen on the street. So I don't know enough about what he's doing to diss it or to praise it. You know what I'm saying? I just know he feels obligated to make a move when he can just be sitting on his money and bragging to everybody about what he got, and just showing everybody what he got and rubbing that in everybody's face. So that ain't the move. The move is when you're in a position to make something happen, make it happen. And if you're doing it for selfish reasons, hey, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? But if you're doing it for the people, for everybody, then that's a whole nother thing. So we just need to do something to help our people, man. When I say our people, I'm saying Black people. I love everybody, and I run out to help everybody. But we got to get on dry land before we can throw anybody else a life preserver, and we drowning. And so we got to do it. We got to stop and do it for ourselves, or we will not survive in this country for long. You can't survive off 2% in the future. It's over for us if we don't get that wealth gap and we don't start to build businesses, not just jobs, but building businesses in our own community that we cherish and that we see prosper. It's over. It's over if we don't do that. We're gonna be, slaves to whatever happened.
And I don't think that we're gonna have the moment that we're having right now with what we've seen this 2020 and how horrific a lot of things have been. I think that it's opened up also a lot of dialogue. Like I pray that we don't have something bigger than this, that we'll say, oh, now is the time. But now people are watching. We got to hold people accountable. We got an election year. There's so much we can't let this moment get away from us. Cube, I thank you for hanging out with us in the neighborhood, man. Thank you for your time. You can always check in with Cube on social media as well at Ice Cube, and I'm pretty sure that there's got to be a link for a contract with Black America, also with the reforms as well, man. And just following you. We got to continue to tap in. We can't be one and done on this.
Yeah, and look, you can go to contractwithblackamerica.us to see it, but when it comes to voting, it's not just the presidency. There's a lot of things to vote on. So there's a lot of people you got to look at and see if they're doing what you need done. So the word "don't vote" is not in my vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? The word "get something for your vote" is in my vocabulary. So that's all I'm saying. You don't have to go in there and punch every dot just because it's a dot. If two candidates ain't doing what you like, don't vote for none of their ass, because they want your vote. Because it ain't gonna matter anyway. If they ain't doing what you like, what difference do it make if they in office or not? They ain't doing nothing you like. But if they doing a few things you agree with, give it to them. I'm just saying the presidential candidates, for me, ain't doing enough. They gotta do more. And we got a plan that they can really help the community. And so that's why I'm pushing. But we got to push senators, congressmen,
yeah, man,
city council, you know, DAs, whatever we can vote on. Of course, get out there and affect that. But don't just punch. I'm gone. I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah. You know what tripped me out when I see people reading the book or nothing at all in the line? I'm like, oh shoot, uh-oh.
Yeah, you should have read that a while ago, bro. You know.
But no, Q, I appreciate you, man. I know you got to go and comb your beard. And thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us in the neighborhood, man. Ice Cube in the neighborhood, Big Boy's neighborhood.